Today we're going to talk about 5 financial mistakes to avoid for this coming year. Now please take this suggestion positively, and if you're not making some of these mistakes, do see them as a good reminder because there's always room for improvement, correct? So without further ado, let's start with the first mistake to avoid, which is not having a savings process. Many of us start this year with a new savings goal target, 50,000 by the end of the year, for example. And you realize by June, if there isn't 25,000 saved up already, that focus, that desire, that confidence in reaching 50,000 kind of dissipates already. That's why setting New Year's resolution is easy, but getting there is hard. And talking about 50,000 saved up in a year, if you do the math, that will work out to be 4,000 plus per month, correct? 4,167 to be exact. So what can we do to achieve that? Maybe let me help define. The first step is to find more income. The second step is to cut back on expenses. Yes, we know this, but what we may not remember, if we focus on what is possible, many of the times we lose heart. But if we focus on what is achievable, then we have a good chance of reaching it. So for income, instead of hoping for a big pay raise, that's not necessarily within control, correct? What can be controlled is the effort in networking. What can be controlled is the effort in taking the right projects to be visible. And what can be controlled is to be in the right teams and having the right circle of friends to bring opportunities. All these are achievable in the day-to-day work. Then what about for expenses? Cutting back on $4,000 per month is not easy in one shot. On the other hand, avoiding alcohol at every meal is very achievable. Cutting back on taxis by leaving a little bit early every day is also achievable. So again, the key message is focus on what is achievable instead of what is possible. Mistake number 2, not having an investment process. There's this saying on Wall Street, bulls make monies, bears make monies, but pigs get slaughtered. You can be a trader or investor. And even if we look at these sites, we realize that there needs to be a good process in decision making. So what is a good investment process, you may ask? Let me show you a big picture of how it actually looks. A good investment process is setting investment goals, determining honestly your risk appetite. You know, most are risky investors until they see a market crash. Having the right asset allocation and creating the investment portfolio for it. And last but not least, monitoring it and reviewing it. That's a lot of what I do as a professional financial advisor. Many clients are very interested to buy investments, but when it comes to monitoring and making hard decisions, that requires discipline and it's not so easy to do. So from an investment point of view, I have these tips to share with you. Write that down before you pour your money out to make that actual investment. The first is, what situation would you be selling? If we hold long-term investments, the situation, the business climate of the company will change. And last but not least, also write down what to do if you have made a mistake. Think of these questions before you buy, because once you own it and you see the profit and loss, there's always a lot more emotion to the game. The third financial mistake to avoid is not making a budget. Recently, I did a full budget breakdown of my travels for 2023. If you haven't seen it, check out links above and I'll leave it towards the end of this. What I realized from that exercise is I budgeted $9,000 per year, but when the final bill came out, I spent way more than that. Again, check out the video, I'll give you the exact breakdown then. Budgets are a bit like speedometer, you know. When you drive a car without a speedometer, you don't know when to slow down. In spending, that is, you don't know when to cut back on. Those that don't believe in budgets are not seeking improvement. Either they have too much, budgets don't make sense, never mind, or they are too ill-disciplined to try to make progress. Most of us listening in, I guess we have the right mindset, and this is a kind reminder to look at budgets again for this coming year. A budget for this particular year, 2024, is also very important because GST is increasing to 9%. Which means if you're doing a renovation, it's going to cost more than what you expected. If you're looking to buy a car, you might also need to factor more. This 50-30-20 financial rule, whereby 50% is needs, 30% is wants, and 20% is savings, cannot be achieved without a budget. And speaking of this, since you're with me on this channel, 20% savings is definitely not enough. If we see this table over here, we would realize that if you're only saving 20% of your income, you will need 37 years to retire according to the 4% rule. No one listening in today is very interested to work 37 years. So have your budget be better than the 50-30-20 rule and save way more for your financial freedom. Mistake number 4 is to not have a retirement plan. What exactly is a retirement plan, correct? Let me define it for you so that you can take the right action steps. Retirement planning has 4 steps. The first is you need to define what kind of lifestyle, what kind of home you want in retirement, because that directly impacts the expense. And speaking of this point, many of us actually don't need that much. When we're in working career, we spend a bit more, that's normal. But I've seen so many retirees pull back on expenses after they've retired. They have way more time to take a walk and they don't really need taxi rides anymore. The second step is to measure what kind of investments and savings are needed to get there. The 4% rule for financial freedom can be calculated simply with 25 times of annual expenses. So for example, you're spending $40,000 of expenses a year, which is roughly $3,000 plus per month. That means 25 times of 40,000, you need 1 million to become financially free. Knowing how much investments you need is a good endpoint that you can target towards, which leads to the third step, having a plan to build up sufficiently. Before the start of year, it's always good to think through how much you're going to set aside towards your investment portfolio, how much you're going to set aside for long-term investing. And when I mean long-term, it's definitely not when it drops 20%, you cut losses and exit. That's not a long-term mindset. A long-term mindset is when you're willing to be wrong for a period and you're willing to track progress of the investment. That is proper long-term investing. Something I practice for myself, we're investing in REITs aggressively for 2023. If you're looking to learn on REIT investing, purchase access to JOSH TAN Finance Summit. Inside there, I have actually tips on how I approach REIT investing that can definitely help you in your investment journey. More than that, I've also shared on latest CPF tips and financial planning hacks. Look for links below to purchase and I'll see you inside. So let's put some numbers to things. How to achieve $1 million in your investment pot in 10 years. Again, retirement sums are large. More often than not, it can be built in 1 to 2 years. That's why this example is really a realistic target. So I've actually done the homework for you to show that if you have an initial investment pot of $300,000 already, then you're willing to contribute $3,000 per month into your investment portfolio. If you're earning well and frugal, this $3,000 per month is something I see quite common on the ground. In 10 quick years, you can actually build this $1 million up for yourself. As you can see, the future value red dot, that is with a 6% per annum projection. So the next question we have is, 6%, is it achievable or not? Absolutely yes. And the way to get there is definitely not in fixed deposits. It has to be in equities. Simply do broad-based investing and be patient to ride market cycles. I have a lot of tutorials here on this channel to show you exactly how to do so. And I'll continue producing those for you, so do smash your subscribe button and stay tuned for more good financial content. The fourth step is to actually make decisions and compromises as of today so they can achieve all the steps that we've listed above. These compromises include not upgrading your house. These compromises include not buying a car. Find a fit for yourself so that you can get to financial freedom. The fifth mistake to avoid is not knowing tax relief hacks. There are so many mistakes on the tax relief front, and they include forgetting to top up supplementary retirement sum SRS accounts by 31st December. They include not following cost relief, child relief properly, and assuming employer takes care of all those. Again, these are personal reliefs that you must input yourself. But the one I'm gunning as a tip, especially for this video, is to not top up your MediSave account to get tax relief. This works especially if you are a high income earner and your CPF special account is maxed out already. What can you do to get tax relief? Take note again, full retirement sum for special account is now $205,800 for 2024. That is a 7,000 jump. But if you've been working full time until your 40s or 50s, you may already have that in your special account, which means you can't use special account for tax relief. Therefore, the only avenue is your MediSave, which has also increased in terms of the basic healthcare sum, which is a limit that it has. For 2024, the basic healthcare sum has increased $3,000 to $71,500. So if you're listening to this right now and you're looking for tax relief ideas, do log into CPF quickly to see whether you can do this $3,000 cash top up before your employer makes contributions to your CPF. If you are of a high income bracket, you would realize that this $3,000 of top up could save you a few $100s in taxes already. Let me know in the comment sections whether you have further tips for our community over here. And as always, smash the like button and check out these previous videos I've done on financial planning. This first one, Why is cash still a terrible idea? Check that out, especially if you're very conservative in your financial investments. And if you've seen that, check this out. My total travel expenses for 2023. I'll see you in either of these videos. Take care as always. Goodbye.